To a different kind of event here. This is time. We're not actually going to be playing tonight. Instead, we're going to be discussing the future of the final act of this 3-act structure. I'm moderating this and also game mastering it. So I'm Thomas. Hello. I'm so used to having a script for this, I don't know what to do. Anyways, I probably should have also giving an order for this, so I'm just going to go across the screen here. So I'm sitting next to Crystal and Kitsune.
Hi, I'm Crystal and Kitsune. I play Lara, who is the mystic. Also, am playing in the new Digimon game.
Well, it hasn't been posted yet.
Oh, well, they know there's a new Digimon game.
Yeah, well, they will now.
I didn't tell them what character I played, so therefore, they already knew. We've talked about it before.
Well, I didn't talk about the fact that we had to reboot it yet, I don't think.
I didn't say we rebooted it. I said it was new.
Anyways, we don't need multiple. Let's focus on Interstitial here.
You caused problems. Well, I don't make jokes. I just whatever. Okay, yeah, I play Lara, who is the mystic, and I don't know why I deal with him.
You don't have to make jokes, dear. Not everyone has to be Zeiston. Speaking of people who aren't Zeiston, I'm also with Zeiston. Just not in person.
Wait.
Hello, I am Zeiston, and I've broken into that Digimon game.
You did.
Was that your joke you had
I play Zeiston, the discard. And yeah.
Conspicuously absent from said Digimon game, it's JDSP.
Hey, I'm JDSP, and I'm kind of out of it today, honestly, but I play Janox and several other characters in other games.
No, I was gonna say at the same time.
Now, well, that would be quite a treat to learn how to do multiple characters at once.
Called the Amalgam Playbook.
We are
Legion. Yes.
And now joining the Digimon game, it's Radical Dishonesty.
Hey, I'm Radical Dishonesty. I haven't picked a name for my character.
In that game.
I mean, I'm playing Sohoy, the Chosen One.
I was gonna say, in that game, you have a name for your character.
To be fair, we just this is on our heads. We just recorded it last night. I still have to editing, and once we have, and I'll start posting them once.
It's okay. When we were doing it last night, he had this game on the brain, so.
Turnabout's fair play.
Hey,
like, literally everything I said to my character being like, "Oh, kind of like Lara."
Yeah, it's gonna be weird finishing up this campaign.
I know.
Yep.
I don't wanna. But masks.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, when did we start this campaign? Like,
about 8 months. So at least.
Yeah,
it was before the plague.
But we'll have masks.
before the
So,
plague.
like, I'd be more sad about it if we weren't doing anything after it, but we at least know what we're doing right after this.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I'm not part of it. And Zeiston isn't part of it, so it is still sad.
Masks.
Yeah.
No, masks. We're doing masks right after this.
That's
we are talking right to mask
The Digimon game is a side thing that people are doing.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay.
Masks, and also Zeiston technically isn't playing it. He just kind of eavesdropped and then revealed that I did not set up the permissions correctly.
I was the hacker that helped you fix things.
White hat.
There we go.
Yeah.
We should have Zeiston just guest star in an episode every once in a while.
I don't know what we'll do.
I'll be the evil Digimon Emperor.
No, we can't. 'Cause this is taking place just after the fall of the actual Digimon Emperor.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
That works perfectly.
So now you're the new one.
For the Digimon Emperor, perhaps maybe we could fix this problem.
Anyways, Digimon elections aside here, we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be kind of looking back at what's kind of transpired, see what you liked, what everyone liked, what everyone disliked, what left people confused as any Kingdom Hearts property should. And then once with that all in mind, we're going to kind of shift our view forward to what we are planning on, what we're going to keep doing, how we want to kind of have people's plots end and wrap up, kind of thing. Because at least for this game, because we have one more world, and then we have what will be the final, the end of the world that never was, etc., etc. Of
the final world that was.
Stuff like that. Keep Graveyard for Birth by Sleep, etc.
Let's just amalgamate all their names into one.
No, please no.
And wait, so who? Well, let's like I said, we're gonna start with just people's thing. So, does anyone have particular things that are rolling right off the top of the head? Let's start with the negative and work on fix it, and then swift over to the positive, so we kind of know what to avoid first, and then we can kind of build on what we want to keep doing. Any volunteers?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't really feel comfortable giving you the negative feedback just because I've already done that.
Okay.
I just haven't done it on stream.
That's fair.
And I give you my positive and negative feedback at the end of every game. So.
I know, but this is more kind of retrospective. Okay, and plot specific. Obviously, you have made your grievances about my mess ups, GMing style wise, very clear to me, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I say that with the utmost respect.
But that's also why I'm not bringing it up over stream.
Yeah, I'm just saying is there any plot threads or that you guys are looking at what was going on with that? Or anything like that?
Tony Stark. Ultron.
That happened before the
Loki.
That all happened before the last phase planning.
It still is unended.
It's never going to end.
I mean, about the only critique I really have on as far as plot points are going is I really wish you had known where you were going with the Lara plot. begin with. I mean, because that is the reason why we did not get rid of the character, and why I am now still a Heartless. Which, please, for the love of God, at least turn me back from being a Heartless at some point, so I don't keep hitting and making out with people.
Well, like, my intention definitely.
Well, that is kind of amusing.
I mean, like, I don't want to get rid of Larxa. Like, I want to actually keep Larxa, but I would like to not be a Heartless.
Yeah.
Which is possible because, you know, Sora was not still a Heartless when Roxas was around.
Like I said, I was offering you ways to do that, and you said no.
It was an in-character thing. Okay.
Okay.
Well, we can take that. That means that what we need to do is we need to sort of orchestrate a way, probably in the next session, to fix that, because there are problems with that. But also, you know, in a way that, like, either Laura will accept or a way in which Laura does not need to accept.
Yeah. Because the problem is
it seems like exactly the kind of thing we should talk about.
We were at the point where you were asking the position of my character. My character and me are not the same thing.
I mean, it is slightly confusing when you do name your character after yourself. Isn't that right, Zeiston?
I didn't name my character after myself.
Yeah, that's not her name.
Oh.
My name is Leah, not Lara. I know it sounds...
True.
You guys don't even call me Leah, you call me Crystal.
Yeah.
I'm usually either called Crystal or Krista by you guys, so...
I just usually call you Love.
Yeah.
Or Dear.
Brad used to call me Krista. I think he thought my name was Krista for a while there.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's something to do with the next one.
Yeah.
You know, there's also the fact that Sohoy loses his mind, which, like...
I have to say, I'm a little, like, slightly annoyed at the fact that, like, you know, we've been a group this entire time, but the relationships between us doesn't seem to have gotten any better.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm kind of annoyed about that too.
I mean, like, I feel like it wouldn't have bothered me as much. Like, I would have actually liked the Sohoy and Lara thing better if I had felt that everyone else's relationships was starting to get better, because that was, like, the one relationship that seemed to actually be good, was Lara and Sohoy.
Right, but the thing is, when I look back on it, it feels like it's a little ill-defined for what it is. Like, okay, they like each other, cool. How does this play out?
We haven't really, we haven't really played it out. It's basically just there's no conflict. They get along. They get along. Yeah. That's kind of the basic of it. But I feel that if there had been more depth with all of the characters' relationships, so I kind of feel that in, like, some basic episodes, we need to focus more on the relationships between the characters, especially considering this is a game about making links.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
There's been a lot of focus on, making the relationships with, like, characters that are randomly coming in who we never even see again, like Aladdin. Like, you know, so focus a little less on those and more on our characters, because we're the ones that are going to keep popping up, and honestly, it's like those are the links that I think are the most important.
Right. Well, we don't have a whole lot. Like, it looked like we were going one direction there, and instead, like, we had the Jafar villain interaction, which I thought was interesting, but I wasn't involved in, so not really.
I feel like we need some more like development as far as that goes. More than just the constant jokes about the love triangle. Like, for one thing, why don't we actually do the love triangle and start playing it out as a serious thing instead of a joke?
Well, that's kind of... I think that's one thing we definitely did get out of the Heartless thing that I kind of dropped the ball a bit on, just because I really should have just made Larxa an NPC from the beginning.
Yes, should have.
But that was a mistake. But I think the biggest thing that Heartless Laura has done is actually, I think, put that ball into motion.
Yeah.
Yeah. What feelings does Laura have for Sohoy theoretically about that?
Well, Sohoy is not part of the love triangle.
Obviously.
I didn't know if it was obviously, because it was like, what feelings does she have for him? It's like, well, he's not part of the love triangle.
Sorry. You were talking about that. I am talking. I'm sorry. If we still want to keep talking about that part,
how does
we
Laura
should
feel
finish...
about Sohoy? Yeah.
Right, because that's a secondary thing that I had been thinking of sort of parallel.
I feel at this point, like, well, maybe not at this point, because at this point, how she felt about Sohoy before is completely obliterated at this point. So, but I think initially it's that she had respect for him and
third time a charm.
Hopefully.
All right, looks like we're good.
All right, we're back. We're good. I feel that it's like there is, at this point, before the fight, it had kind of turned into a relationship of respect. Because obviously Lara being a wielder is a recent thing. Before that, it was very much, because Lara has a very mothering nature. So, because of that, I do think that there was a, kind of like a mothering, he's innocent, he's young.
Right. Well, the irony here is that my character attacked you essentially in a moment of weakness.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know what's going on, and he's kind of falling apart about it. But
I definitely
instead,
feel
Laura
that
just hates him for it.
I definitely feel that we can get a pretty good development actually out of this. Once they resolve it. I feel like they will be able to get some form of, or, something out of it, because in a way, actually, what I feel is that it could lead into a heart link. Because the thing is that the nature of what Lara was like when she first came in is she was very, very anti-nobody, because of her own history with nobodies. And, it kind of reflects how the fact that Sohoy went and like flipped out and attacked her because she was a heartless.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good
comparison. I feel like it's something that could lead into a heart link.
Right.
Once Lara is at a point of understanding, but in order to be at a point of understanding, she cannot be a heartless.
Yeah. We'll definitely get it. I will definitely pretty early on. I'm going to actually this next episode's intended to be we're doing the everyone pairing off on the Love Boat, named for the fact that Nell is Nell Love is the full name.
Well, then I feel like there's going to be more reasons to call this the Love Boat, because things are going to be getting paired off, and Heartless Lara just...
Well, you're going to be going back to normal. You're feeling...
Thank you.
You are, normal-ish. You're going to be suppressed. Like, you still have to worry about... Like, if you miss, I can say you're going anti-form right now, kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with.
You're also going to be taking pluses and minuses.
So it's sort of like I'm like on that border between human and heartless.
Yeah, you're similar to like Ansem, Seeker of Darkness.
Yeah. Okay, that works.
Is what the intent is going to be.
So yeah, because that's what I was hoping. Because otherwise, I knew that nothing was going to get accomplished otherwise, aside from, maybe a couple hormonal screaming at people, if I was still full heartless.
And like, you're free to roleplay it, because like your emotional state is going to be a lot stronger just from the narrative. But
well, yeah. I don't know.
All right, so we discussed. All right, I think we kind of transitioned to a medieval phase, which I probably should have thought of, is character dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
So we have gone over in depth Lara and Sohoy. What's this? Let's just look at each kind of dynamic individually here. So, what is there to say? Because I'm going to pull this one out first, because it's the one that I feel is like equally vague as like that is Janox and Sohoy.
The only from the link I remember, which like made a big impact on me at the time, we just didn't elaborate on it, so it's just been simmering. was that thing that Sohoy doesn't remember of asking Janox, why did you decide to help him? And Janox said that he sort of understood what it felt like to be lost. And that is like it made an impact on like Sohoy's heart, but not his mind, because it's sort of inside of him. But that's really super blurry. So but we just haven't done anything with it yet. Is the thing, is that's where it was, and we've just sort of let it stay there for now. I don't know if Jane has an opinion on that or not.
No, that's kind of what I kind of understood about their relationship as well at this point.
Yeah, is that was a couple worlds ago now, and nothing has really happened since then. But that is sort of that's the probably anything that I would want to pursue later in fleshing out the dynamic would involve that.
Yeah, because I think part of that is just how things have been kind of paired off. Like in the Pirates world, it was Sohoy and Zeistund with Laura and Janox, because I specifically wanted to flesh out Laura and Janox's dynamic a little bit. Because Laura and Zeistund, very defined. Really, everyone in Zeistund has a very clear idea of where they stand relative to each other.
I mean, Sohoy just had a shakeup on it, but yeah, a shakeup that might go back if because of how Zeistund is, but
yeah.
Well, that's fair.
So, well, why don't we just start talking about that then? Like the Zeistund Sohoy line.
I mean, this one seems like we know what's going on. Sohoy had sort of become to a full realization of like Zeistund's kind of a bad guy, isn't he? and it stopped being something he can just ignore in the background. But then Zeistund bailed him out. So Sohoy's like, okay, maybe it's not that simple.
Yeah, and so so you guys are definitely set up to some interesting conversations on the love boat.
Yeah.
The shades of gray of Zeistund.
Yeah. Like,
there's only one shade of gray.
Very.
We are not allowing any more shades.
And it's more of a black than a gray. I mean, the trench coat and the hood and everything.
I'm sorry, we have to limit the number of shades. We do not want too many.
We can end up at like 49, and that's it.
That's too close. Anyways, joking aside, yeah, I want to address everyone. I know some of the Sohoy and Laura probably had the most to be said. But I still
and I kind of want to add it into the Laura and Zeistund, because I do have ideas on where I want them to be going.
Yeah.
In the upcoming stuff, I just need to discuss it with Dustin.
All right, so
which I was going to use this for.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah.
So all right, so we're gonna go now that we've kind of touched all of Sohoy's connections. Let's go. Since we did with Zeistund, let's keep going with Zeistund. Let's do Zeistund Janox, and then we'll do Zeistund Laura. So, how are you two feeling right now? Because seriously, I feel like Janox has got
bad happened.
Well, I feel like Janox is really kind of almost in denial a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, it kind of sounds like Janox still has some feelings towards Zeistund.
I also kind of feel like they're at a point where Janox is actually forming as a more independent. I don't know, it felt like he was very dependent on Zeistund before, and now it feels a little less so. It's just something I noticed, at least. Crickets. I also noticed crickets.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, I can kind of see
that. I thought Janox was going to speak in, so.
Crickets! Okay, I guess I was wrong.
Please stop beating
I'm
us
sorry.
with your bats.
We're trying to be considerate. But
I'm sorry. I'm the big talker though. So when it comes to this stuff,
I am too. I understand.
All right, then. Well, let me take the helm here. But I think my relationship with, at least how I feel Janox's relationship with Zeistund is, it is still a little complex and awkward because initially Janox thought that he was the one in charge of the two of them, that he was riling in a very chaotic pirate of a character to kind of serve its point. And then, of course, that all got flipped on its head when all of a sudden he discovered, oh, wait, I'm the replica, and then immediately also got almost murdered by Zeistund. I know it was an act out of character, and even in character he might have, but there's still that lingering bit of, you still kind of stabbed me in the back.
Front. Stabbed you in the front.
Well, I got stabbed either way. It doesn't matter which way I got stabbed. I got stabbed. It hurt. It hurt me on the outside and the inside.
It went through you.
But no, I like the dynamic our characters have. I just think that's kind of where it is. To be honest, part of what I did with Nell was, it might have been a bit honest. I'm not sure. I thought I was more distracting her because, like, oh, I'm just trying to get her to, distract her so we can actually, solve the problem we were causing by being in this world.
Yeah. But it's one of those things. It's like where you give a lie, but there's more truth to that lie than you intended.
Yeah, I don't mind if that is what happens there.
Yeah. I think that's like like I said, a lot of this stuff is going to get like aired out in the Love Boat scenes. And so I guess the next thing I want to go here is then Zeistund and Lara.
Ah, yes. So, at least as far as hello, Keyblade. Sorry, distraction. I think that was supposed to be Lara's Keyblade at one point. Anyways, so, the way I kind of see it is, like, I think that Lara and Zeistund are the ones that are probably going to end up being endgame in this love triangle. And I actually wanted to explore that. I want to get a confession in the Enchanted world. Like, that's the biggest thing, is we need to get a frickin' confession.
I confess! I confess!
Yeah, and I wanted to get that in the Enchanted world because but in order to do that, like, we first have to kind of, like, get a more, like, a bigger understanding at this point first of, like, what their feelings are.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Laura kissing Janox kind of drew Zeistund back on his feelings. Like,
that's got to be talked about. Yeah, like, that's gonna have to be talked about on the ship. For sure. Like, I really want that to get talked about because there is gonna be, like, some jealousy there.
Yeah, I'm still kind of debating on Zeistund's feelings about that because, like, it kind of just happened, and I was like, oh, all right, well, I guess we were just messing around before.
Yeah. Because, like, they did, it was, like, the last time we did, like, one of these, like, one-on-one things that stuff happened, but, like, feelings have kind of developed throughout that time.
And yeah, actually, I was toying around with the idea of, like, Zeistund just going rogue afterwards, like.
I like that.
I don't need no woman. I'm my own man.
Right. Alright, so, and lastly, Lara and Janox.
Okay, that's the complicated one. Janox, how are you feeling?
Honestly, I'm still 50-50 on the fence. The fact that it's going to be a little bit part of that betrayal as well from Zeistind if I have to get over anything. And the fact that it took in the middle of like last session for Janox to finally find out that the two of you had a thing going, and thus he's going to have to deal with a little bit of that as well.
Yeah.
How do I feel about this? I mean, that's always kind of the story when you have like a girl and your best friend.
Yeah.
That's always the weird part.
Oh God, yeah. It just kind of occurred to me now. Like, I've been in that relationship before where it's just like shit.
It's funny and I love it. It's just like one of those things that is also further going to be defined because on one hand, Janox being, a bro and wanting to, not be as vindictive and as evil as maybe might have been post this campaign.
Yeah.
In his ex lives. But on the other hand,
this
is also the guy who stabbed him in the front. This is a girl he possibly has interest in.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also the fact that he's a little surprised that they were able to keep it a secret so long. When he thought, once again, he feels like he's not necessarily the one in control because he feels left out of the loop.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that because like the biggest thing like with the love triangle is like it's the good guy versus the bad guy, pretty much. It's the person who is when you get down to it is actually good for her, and then the person who is definitely not good for her, but it's the one she wants anyways. Yeah. And I think that's eventually gonna come to a head because we are eventually gonna have to deal with like. Laura's gonna have to pick because I think that's gonna be a big thing. I feel like when they get onto the ship, like there's gonna be some point. Like I kind of want a scene with the three of them, along with like
scene.
There's
gonna be. I think there's.
I want a scene with the three of them where it's literally like you have to pick. Like I want them to try to force her to pick who she wants.
Janox, oh Janox.
I love it.
Now in the background singing "Kiss the Girl."
La, 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 my oh my.
But I could see since we're going into an enchanted world, and if you think already that there is some character potential to go, oh, well, I'm going to resolve some of this love triangle there might be part of that confrontation coming in there before we go to whatever final world we go into.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that's why I want kind of to deal with like the start of like the confrontation of like the realization that there is like feelings, because Laura also has not fully admitted that there's feelings right now. She's just admitted that there's kissing. So, we still have to kind of get to that point. But I think that's definitely where I want it to go. As I said, like, the biggest thing is I want to have a, instead of just the scenes between, like, one-on-one, I want a scene with all three of them together.
We can kind of figure out, like, whether it's going to be, like, you want the one-on-ones leading into the scene, or do you want the one-on-ones after the scene? Kind of like there's gonna be
I think it's gonna start out with it actually.
Okay.
I wanted to start out with it because the thing is that each guy saw Laura kiss the other one, so it's gonna be
a few seconds with each other. So
literally almost immediately I want them to corner her.
There's gonna be an intro scene of Nell just kind of setting up the stage.
Yeah.
Setting the stage, literally and figuratively.
Yes.
I mean, with such a meta character. All right, that's one thing I'd like to, transition this topic into is also our relationship with the NPCs.
Actually, part of this right where I was planning on going. So
yes, excellent.
What about Sohoy's relationship with Sohoy?
Ah, yes,
that falls under that category.
Yeah, I think so. Very important. Sohoy is the only character that kind of has an internal conflict. Well, not really, but he does.
A conflict that has an internal NPC conflict.
Yeah, it's the only internal NPC conflict. It's definitely something it needs to get resolved sooner or later, but probably later. To be honest,
I want to say
it seems like
kind of roughly pacing wise the same thing as the Roxas confrontation in 2 between Sora and Roxas. Like that's kind of
something sort of right before the end. Yeah.
Yeah, before you really start hitting the final finale kind of
I mean,
thing,
it could be literally the end.
But it also has to make sense in the narrative, so we just kind of
yeah.
Ideas,
anyway, let's finish everyone else though really quick, because this is a little complicated.
Finish up all that was because Laura and Jax I think was the last pairing.
No. What I mean is we don't need to start with my characters. Yeah, with my character NPC
because you
thing.
have the most with an NPC.
Well, let's start off with let's start off with semi-positive characters here, like people who are ally to ally-ish. So basically, first off, let's talk Nell. The bit character that everyone decided that no, we like this character kind of thing.
Oh, we do.
Actually, not everyone.
Okay, well,
I personally don't actually have any feelings towards Nell whatsoever, but that's just because I've seen that exact same character a million times, and it's getting old. Sorry.
Oh, understandable.
Yeah, you're allowed your opinion. You know how wrong you are.
Yeah.
Wrong opinions are allowed. No.
Yeah.
I actually don't have a huge opinion on her, but I don't also am not like.
I kept my mouth shut about it because it's his character, but
to be fair, it was originally intended to be a character that shows up for once, maybe showed up again later on as part of the whole group, but there was a more positive response than I was anticipating. So things kind of went in a weird direction compared to what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we have that in character, like, oh, we actually know this person, like, and they're actually kind of a fun character, so it's like, yeah, I don't see why we would be like, nah, we hate this character.
And I also think because it does also give someone to help flesh out me and Zeiston's backstory, because as you said, this is a character you introduced to be because I don't think we're gonna hit 13 members, but that there was a small group we had under the Lost Master, and this was a character who was a part of that.
Yeah, and it was also as specifically part of Dietrich's trio.
Mm-hmm. We haven't met the last member, and I assume you probably have plans for the last member, but
oh yeah, yep. Basically, there was intended to be one member of the trio per world was the original intention.
And then Dyson has to fight them all.
Now, also, I'm gonna wait till you actually get this to talk about my NPC, because there is something I want to discuss on for one of my NPCs.
Okay. So I guess here's the question: what kind of things do people want to see? Wait,
we're still in a conversation, honey. We're still talking about the NPCs.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking about with Nell specifically.
Oh. I don't know. I don't really care. As I said, I don't really like Nell, so I don't really care.
Well, I know, but not liking. Do you wish not to want her to be? Do you not want her to be a? Do you want her to be that? Her appearance or non-appearance is an opinion on that kind.
I guess more I kind of want her to be more a reappearing character, a recurring character,
okay,
but
so
not
someone who can show up again. Kind of like how Millie
I don't want her to become a new main NPC like Morgana is.
Or, as the other person we're going to talk about after this, Millen.
Yeah, like, I like Millen. I like what they've been doing with Millen, but I don't want her to become like Millen, where she's
well, and to be fair, she is a comic relief character. Like, ultimately, that's what she is.
And that's some of it, is I don't like comic relief characters, is, you know, some of why I don't like her that much is just because of...
Yeah.
I don't like
I think one of my things about that character archetype, the Pinky, what's her name?
The Pinkie
Universe
Pie
girl
type
fight.
thing.
Yeah, is I think the quality of the character is proportional to the amount I can also take the character seriously.
Yeah.
You know, if I can't take a character seriously at all, then okay. But yeah. Anyway, that's just
I'm not about like I was gonna say this late in the game. I'm not going to try to invent a whole in-depth backstory for her either. Just because,
no, I don't expect it. I definitely don't expect that.
I mean, and some of that is that I kind of didn't want another NPC outside of like Silas and Millen, to kind of have like that big focus.
Yeah, I'm kind of taking up a lot of space with that. Sorry.
Like we were gonna have ones that each had like a big focus, I would prefer it that each of us had like our own NPC. And honestly, I would not mind. Now, the thing is, I do have my own NPC. It's just she's barely shown up.
Well, we'll get to that when we get to the...
I know, as I said, and that's what I need to talk about there. Yeah. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, so I feel like maybe, like, she's offering her ride for this, and she might show up occasionally after that, like...
I mean, we might still have to fight her.
Yeah. Now, like,
we just might not kill her.
The actual fight here, but that was fine. Like, I had designed all three of them to be ones you couldn't just go by, oh, I attack.
Yeah.
So these weren't meant to be a little more of a different caliber fight. In this case, the fight just didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
surprise, that's okay. We like her.
So yeah, so I think that having her just kind of like, like occasionally when it makes sense.
Yeah.
Is kind of what I think I'm going to settle on it.
However, we only have 2 worlds. We only have 2 worlds left, although the last world is up in the air as to probably how complicated that's going to be.
Yes. All right. So, well, let's shift over then to the other ally NPC we have right now, the proper ally, Millen. How are people feeling about him, and what is? But let's just start with how people are feeling.
Are we talking about how the people are feeling, or how the characters are feeling?
People and your character. You can talk about how you're.
I like Millen, general, like not in character, in like real life. Like, I actually really like Millen.
Yeah, I think in character, your character, you don't trust him at all.
I don't trust him at all, like, in person, but personally, I really like Millen.
I'm going to hit you last, Brad, because obviously you're the one most tied to this character, but I just kind of want to get the peripheral...
Yes.
Now, I probably really like him because I kind of really ship him in AHOY, but...
Well, that's an entirely different story, but...
It's a valid way to interact with a character, come on.
I mean, come on, I can't be the only one who ships them.
I just realized I made it too much like Axel and Roxas. That's all I said.
That is exactly what you did, yeah. But I cannot be the only person here who ships them, really.
No, I can see it, so...
Alright, so how does our dynamic duo feel about Millen?
Oh. I have no real issues with Millen. Like, I haven't really interacted with him, so I can't really say, like...
Yeah.
Right. Well, what about potentially him taking up too much space? Like, he doesn't take up a whole lot of space, but he does.
I mean, like, he has useful magic.
Yeah.
I feel like he is a character that is very important to AHOY's development and personality. So, in some way, that's a pro and a con, because that means he is currently tagging along with it, but that also means maybe there needs to be room for him to not necessarily have to be with us. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's entirely possible that like we get split up between now and then. Like we don't need to have another world with him around the entire
he
time.
doesn't. I don't think he has to stick around to the end, but I do feel like he's a character that.
Oh, I mean, I think in the very end he needs to be maybe not stuck around, but like present narratively, you know?
Yeah.
He's kind of the Riku of your story.
Except not as completely angsty and lost.
More of the
story. I like I think he does need to exist in the story, but I don't know how essential he is right now. Maybe I feel like for the next world he needs to, similarly to before, he doesn't necessarily need to be the focus, and thus whatever roundabout relationship he ends up having on Sohoy and any finishing stuff they have there can happen in the next world. In the final world where, quote, we have to deal with hopefully the finale of the campaign is where his story can wrap up.
So pulling back curtain here, like I said, my full intention was originally Millen was intended to read from the Umbra logos and be stuck, like I said, I think I may have told this before, but was going to be unwittingly trying to fulfill the dark prophecy, and so you would have the two prophecies butting heads. About the time that Sohoy grabbed him and jumped into the portal with him, I realized that plan did not make any sense anymore in the narrative. Which is why I like the information of prophecies. I actually had intended to be kind of late game revelation stuff. Because the idea was, okay, he's doing this, and then you realize, oh, why this is bad. But so I moved that information forward to kind of show, because you had completely averted that plot thread, which is okay. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
And I don't mind if you end up deciding that he has to fulfill his purpose, and you get to have an Axel X Roxas type clash. Except this time, Millen is in the position of doing something he doesn't want to do but has to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Like I say, I feel like Millen's story. You unlock the good ending for Millen, basically. That's the best way to describe this.
Kind of, yeah. Just a little bit of that.
I can actually see like Sohoy and Millen kind of doing the Kingdom Hearts 2 thing, where like, they join forces and fight their teacher.
Because we'll get to that in a bit, but I kind of want to describe up everyone has a foil that they're
just talking purely about as a character relationship. I feel like Janox has a similar opinion as Zeissman. I kind of am okay with the guy. Like, I'm hoping that him interacting with Sohoy will help us figure out some of the information about Sohoy that my character is curious about. But he's not like completely antagonistic to the dude either.
All right, so I guess right. Let's go get your opinions on Millen here.
Yeah, I'm good with Millen. I like the. Obviously, like my character made the choice to try and pull him further into the story. Obviously, there was that. He took my fuck destiny thing, so Sohoy's not going to be doing that anytime soon.
Sorry.
I mean, he's going to agree with Millen, but it's not going to be his like, oh yeah, no more chosen one.
Sorry, I was trying to help you. Honestly, I didn't realize. I didn't even think I was stealing your thunder there. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I will admit, I was tearing up when I was doing that specific thing. Like, so.
Yeah, you were really into it. I mean, that's mostly where I am with it. I mean, I enjoy the what? Hello?
Huh?
No, that was just I turned off one of the lights, so we
turned off one of the lights, and I didn't know what was going on, and he didn't tell me
he
he was turning
sorry.
off the light. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's Nothing you need to worry about.
I'm grinding. Yeah, I am grinding, so I can't see you right now.
You shouldn't be grinding.
But the grinding, there's no effort. It just takes time.
Well, that's what the kids call it nowadays.
That's right. Anyway, actually, the joke about shipping is something that really amuses me too. I'm not sure if I'd be able to play that really well.
Oh. I'm planning on leaving this about the same level as Axel and Roxas.
I figured you guys were gonna leave it open-ended.
Yeah.
You know, like for people to write secret fanfiction about, or to
sure, yeah.
Steal characters for their RPs. I may be stealing characters for RPs. I may end up making an OC based off of Sohoy. It may happen.
Okay. Yeah.
I will credit you.
That's good.
Even though the only people who are going to see it are the people in our Digimon games, so... and him.
Oh, him. Okay.
Well, the idea for doing it is the idea that he wants to play his version of Millen at some point.
Okay. So we're gonna we might go to the other side of it, where Sohoy is the NPC version of Sohoy.
Yes.
We have the PC version in this universe and the NPC version in the other universe.
Yes.
Oh man, timelines and shit.
All right. Well.
Wait.
Anyway. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I do like the interaction with Millen. We could do a thing where there's a split up and a not split up, and that's fine.
Yeah. Or like.
Sohoy desperately clings to anything positive he can glean from his past, because there is so much that is not positive.
Yeah,
there's a
very
large
the biggest
amount
thing
of
as I've been that is something I actually have been actively trying to do it with Millen, is try to show that yes, the stuff that set up Silas to become Sohoy, a lot of shit happened to him. Like, he's angry and he's not unrightfully so.
Right.
Because, we'll get into that when we talk about, discussion and everything for the future stuff. So, let's flip the side of the coin and talk about villains. Starting out with the extra one to this whole group thing, before we go on to everyone's unique... I guess one of them is kind of taking the place that Millen was supposed to be, because he was supposed to be...
By the extra one, are you meaning my villain?
Zetrix.
Oh, I didn't know if you were talking about Zetrix or Larxa.
Larxa is a very much... I have no idea what's happening with Larxa, because...
my plan with Larxa is that she... What are you doing?
No, I was saying... I was trying to say we'll get to that after we...
Boo you!
One step at a time here.
Boo you.
So, okay. We've also shown that it's disconnected there.
Weird.
Yeah, we
cut out for a second. You cut out for a second.
I don't know what happened there, but I think when I go to work, I'm gonna get a new.
Yeah, I'm hearing it. You're sounding fine.
A new extender. Just this one is just a decent one instead of the cheapest one I can find on Amazon.
Yeah, this one was really crappy.
Anyways, sorry, technical.
She is a romantic rival, according to Laura.
I mean, that is ironically actually the third way this could go. Laura could end up with neither Janox and Zeisted, and we ended up just getting with Zell and Zetrix.
Yeah. I guess one more thing I want to say about Millen, perhaps, is that I did expect when I first met him, I'm like, we're going to have to fight. We haven't fought or anything, so...
Yeah, that was one way I was thinking about things could go with when Zaisen saw heartless Laura kissing Janox. It's like, all right, well, I'm hooking back up with Zetrix. Fuck you.
I want Laura and Zetrix to fight at some point.
Okay.
Because the thing is that along with I mean, obviously she has Morgana, who's her foil, but Zetrix has very much been, I always kind of imagine Zetrix to be kind of a rival for her.
Which is really funny when you look at the one time they have interacted. like Zetrix was actually very polite and just like very much dumping on Zeiston, but like honestly, it held no ill will to Lara.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I feel.
But
Sachi was
specifically
like
with wanting to kind of like nip the whole relationships in the bud and get a confession in Enchanted. I think that would be a good point to have it.
Okay. That will definitely have to shuffle things around for that.
Oh, you weren't planning on that happening?
Maybe.
I wasn't planning
if you
on
have a better
being
idea
in that world.
if you were to do it, that's probably the problem.
I mean, and maybe not even in that world, maybe in like towards the final, because obviously, the final world may have several worlds in general.
Yeah.
I mean, they technically, like, we're getting into the finale, but it's not really the finale. It's like, this is like the post-finale.
The pre-finale. Post means after.
Post-finale. Yeah, there will be a post-finale because there has to be a secret ending.
Of course, it's a Kingdom Hearts title.
Well, that...
Yeah, but
I hadn't even thought of that.
I mean, we need a secret ending.
I haven't thought of that.
We need a secret ending so we can keep it open-ended for a sequel.
I have no idea. Like, I have designed these threads to be as wrapped up as I can manage, and as much as it makes sense to be a Kingdom Hearts game with answers being given, but like unlike Nomura, I actually have explanations for the most part for why things are.
What? That's crazy talk. Who said you're allowed to have
no.
stuff? Get out of here.
We could 100% ridiculous wing the other ending with people making up dramatic stupid thing, just one or two things each, and just like then maybe even just throw it all out if we do anything later.
And then there's this guy that looks like Janox with brown hair. What do you need?
That actually is a good
Zeiston
idea,
is really the bad guy all along.
Okay, so anyways, like I said, in terms of Zetrix being a like, honestly, the biggest thing is I was going by Zetrix got like it was basically I had two plans in my head for what Zetrix's actual beef with Zeiston is, because the kind of the running joke with Zetrix has been no one tells Zeiston what the actual problem is. Is that, of course, the more serious, obvious answer is that, okay, they did something together, then basically Zeiston thought it was just felt like it was a one-off thing, Zetrix wanted more, and basically now she's pissed. Like, that's kind of the obvious answer to it, but other thing is, like, part of me wants it to be it was like the most petty thing ever. Like, Zeiston cut in front of her in line, so she organized this little death hunt for Zeiston to get her revenge over this minor petty insult.
Zeiston took the last cupcake at the meetings.
At our luncheon.
So yeah, like, so those are kind of what's been in my head, but like, so what do you want?
It depends
like,
on
Zeiston, what do you want
versus the comedic aspect.
What do you want Zetrix's whole beef to be?
I mean, as funny as like the whole like really petty thing is, I do kind of like the idea that they actually did have something, and like he was just too Zeiston to like really like think it was anything serious, because that could open up more doors to other things like.
One does not simply open up more door.
That's Kingdom Hearts. That's all we do is open up doors.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, makes
I thought
complete
that was
sense
Frozen.
Well, that too.
Well, that too, but
I mean, it's now in the same universe, so.
All right, so that's it for Zetrix kind of stuff. So now we're gonna start going over
in
foils.
general, before we officially move on, in general, if we're talking just in, I'd like to kind of learn. We can kind of leave a lot of it open-ended, but between Zetrix and Nell, I don't know if we need to meet the third individual, or we want to determine exactly how many individuals were there, or what.
Well, the third individual is intended to be okay, I'm going to be upfront with this. The third individual is intended to be a very laconic and stoic person to kind of contrast the rest of the group.
Oh, of course.
More of just the unstoppable force, because the idea is you have power, speed, control is the theming I went with them, but also with combo, aggression, and what's the last type of deck? Oh, for Magic, there was like the 3 decks that kind of beat each other.
Control?
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah,
aggro,
it was
control, combo.
Yeah. So like each of those were the 2 theming I had for the trio, and I did want to keep it a trio, but I also know that Enchanted is going to be very NPC heavy, because you're going to have Morgana, you're going to have now Larksa, you're going to have the 3rd member, which I haven't actually figured out the name yet. So but I understood, but that's why I was kind of keeping her personality to a minimum, so she was more of a hazard and a complication than a grandstanding character. Especially after Nell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. It makes complete sense if you're going to just have someone who's like no-nonsense.
Oh, that's the other NPC. Maleficent.
Ah.
Maleficent, this is the return of Maleficent, so we kind of have that bookending the Disney worlds.
Mm-hmm. As far as Maleficent goes, I'm a little unsure about bringing in Maleficent. I don't know. I didn't really like the Maleficent world very much. But, it's your game, so.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to, everyone, the biggest thing, though, is that Maleficent was the only world that had an explicit cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to do with it. It's not going to be a big thing. It's just, she's going to be antagonistic because the idea is that Morgana has kidnapped Aurora. And is basically using that as leverage on Maleficent to get Maleficent to do what Morgana wants.
Yeah.
You're going to prove Laura right, dude, with evil all along.
Yeah, and that's kind of the idea is, her motivation is thing, but it's going to look like, oh, okay, no, some of your first assumption is going to be correct. And I understand that the Fey Woods is going to be kind of was the weakest one. That was the first Disney World, so was still trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
And Maleficent actually makes sense to her actually traveling worlds and such.
That's the most on brand one of the characters that just get shipped off. And I imagine you will also explain why necessarily certain things happen. Maybe we get some closure on those Disney characters in the final world, a little bit of at least learning, okay, what kind of bull crap has caused this sort of situation in the first
yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible that the final world involves having a hollowed world, a hollowed Disney world where someone has ruined it. Not like we already have one of those or something.
It could be like a remnant of all the worlds that got destroyed by hollows.
So there's basically there is a final location which I if you guys really want it for planning, I will tell you what it is, but I feel like the surprise of what this whole reveal is kind of worth not saying it, but
yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, mum's the word. You don't have to tell us right now.
I can actually say I can tell you what this is without revealing the crucial fact of it. I remember way back in the beginning when I gave a narration about a world falling to darkness.
Mm-hmm.
and say, and like there was two coded figures, one saying to the other it was too late, and such. That is you're going to actually end up in that place for the final, like the final heavier stuff, and then there's going to be, ideally, I feel like the final thing is going to be fighting the Hollowed in its cage to end it. What form that ending takes, I have no idea.
You're still working it out.
No, I I'm not gonna come in this with say like, oh yeah, the solution is you guys kill it, or the solution is you rescue the cut off heart inside of it. Like, I'm gonna leave it open to what you guys do in the game.
We decide that emptiness is the only true world and unleash it on the rest of the universe.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Naturally.
I would find it very odd, but I'm not going to stop you from doing that as a GM. I'm just going to say, are you sure?
No, we all go through some real intense character struggles in the next two worlds, and we're like, we don't think it's worth it anymore.
Yeah,
just living.
Truck the universe.
Yeah.
Embrace nothingness.
Exactly.
Alright, so. Alright, anyways, foil. So, Lost Master. The Forgotten Master, actually, not the Lost Master.
Yeah. We have the problem is, like, you've introduced this trinity of characters that all kind of technical. Well, I guess there was a quad, but you killed one of them, so that's at least one less person you have to worry about.
Well, to be fair, and the other one died, and the other, because of the grief of that loss, became the Hollowed. So, yeah, there's really only two of them left, and these weren't the original ones at the time. So, Master Lionel and the Forgotten Master. So let's focus, like, okay, what is people, like, Forgotten Master is pretty much everything about him has been laid bare about what his MO is, really.
Right, like, and what his motivations are, because we learned about the what's it called thing, about the...
Yeah, the truth about the prophecies and everything.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, I'm going to say this, I don't remember if I've actually said it in game, so apologies for this, but, you know, he wiped Sohoy's memories to try to keep the location of the Lux logos hidden.
Okay.
So that's why Sohoy has no memory.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But I think it was pretty. I thought I had.
It was not made clear.
No, what I was saying was, I thought I made clear was that it was the Forgotten Master
that was not made clear.
That was also not made clear. Yeah. Because, like, the Forgotten Master didn't recognize my character. The Forgotten Master didn't do anything about that. Like, it could have easily been that the Forgotten Master plot of it was a red. Like, that seems like the obvious guess, but it also could have been a red herring, and it is completely something else. You know?
Yeah, but that's why I was saying, like, even if I hadn't said it, I want to state it now that, like, that is
okay.
Like there's.
I mean,
some other
then I'm just going to be clear about the thing, because Sohoy will still ask Silas, but it's also possible Silas read the book, and that the Forgotten Master is the good guy who had to erase Silas's memories.
No, Silas did not read the book.
So while we're on the topic of the Forgotten Master, one thing I am curious about is the the whole. Well, even though I don't actually think this was the Forgotten Master that said this was Lionel, who made the comment about the prophecies.
Yep, that was Lionel.
Is it gonna come up about the fact that I was apparently not involved?
Do you want me to tell you what I'm planning with it?
Yes, because at the moment I'm making it more feels like I'm not involved because you didn't know how to make me involved.
No, the trick is Master Lionel's wrong. He assigned the wrong roles. He thinks he's part of the prophecy when he's not.
And I am instead of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the big thing is Master Lionel misinterpreting. He is still being used by the prophecy to bring itself about, but he thinks he's one of the big players of the prophecy. He thinks he's going to be made the tyrant of light, but he's not.
Oh, okay. Wait, so I'm going to be made the tyrant of light?
If the prophecy comes true, yes.
Cool.
So that's the whole reveal there.
True, that's something we don't have to reveal right now.
Yeah.
Sorry,
sorry, I just made him reveal that, but that was one of those things that had been bothering me for a while.
Yep. No. My intention is that the reason is that it shows that basically to show that he is a pawn of the prophecy itself, not the person who comes about it. And if you think about it, especially original Lara, as someone who is a tyrant enforcing the light.
Oh, you mean my original version of Lara?
Like especially how you were in the beginning with like distrusting like half the group just because they were nobodies and such.
She's a knight, so yeah, that would make sense.
So, and that's.
I wonder if nobody Laura is like better suited for the Tyrant of Light right now. With this distant like eye of like this like she doesn't know what she doesn't have the things that would interfere with regular Laura with her the chaotic feelings she has, and without those then the light can truly be tyrannical.
Yeah, there's definitely a thing because like obviously Larksa was that a thing when I figured out this prophecy thing for her.
Larksa is a new development.
So.
Yes, I know.
Well, since we're on the topic, what else? Does anyone have anything else they want to say about Master Lino? Because I feel like we're kind of okay with the Forgotten Master. Like, he's understandable what he was doing, but he's doing
very few opinions on Master Lino. Aside from that.
Oh yeah, no. Sohoy is totally in the I don't know what's going on. What is this? Can I trust him or not? He seems so but of course, obviously, if he's like trying to do this, he's somewhere between the bad guy and a pitiable victim, so
Zyson is very much like we make your own destiny type of character, so like he'll probably just go like fuck your prophecies.
Fuck your prophecy, I'm out.
Yeah. Also, like the idea of prophecies is a strange one because like it doesn't mean quite the same thing. Prophecies are like literal, like created magical things that attempt to create themselves instead of anything like.
That's why I specifically said man-made prophecies. Like there can be prophecies that come into existence that are different, but I'm not. Basically, my narrative is silent on those.
Yes. I understand this.
But no, I trust you're going to spread things out so that way the finale will feel vindicated. Like, I feel like if we're going to have most of any sort of romantic tension is probably going to be best off in the enchanted world because, fairy tales, discovering what true love is and all that stuff. And then the final world can actually be where, like, we get to uncover like all the major plot elements.
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be like, oh wait, I actually have to tell you guys all this stuff now.
No, that's fine.
It's no longer like okay, trying to hint at it, but so it doesn't feel like it's coming out of left field. Jury's still out on how well I succeeded on that front.
I mean, the things assembled together.
Because like I know the big thing is Master Lionel's the big thing Master Lionel has to reveal is his role in Sohoy's journey so far.
Yeah. Not entirely clear on that. Like we don't know what Silas had chosen or not, and why he made the choice.
Unfortunately, it's just is partially because of myself being nervous about doing the character correctly, and that definitely holds me back.
Do research!
I did research!
Research!
I read the entire overly long Merlin wiki article on Morgana.
Watch Merlin!
You're already doing that.
Okay, then you will watch it with me.
Anyways, her goals are the next world is where I'm going to make clear what she is after here. She's been kind of on the background, kind of doing weird things, kind of thing, and I'm not saying that was the correct thing for me to do, but she has a very clear goal, and it's that this world is where she is. Because the next world, basically, part of me wants to just kind of leave the actual antagonist from Enchanted in the background for this world and replace it with Morgana's plans.
I think that would be a good idea.
I mean, we've there have been a lot of cases where we get distracted by something completely different. See the world we just left, in which we spend all our time arguing with Jafar. We don't even solve the thing where he's in the wrong world. We literally leave him there.
True, well, Matt. Transitions pretty well into one of the things. So I feel like some of our constant getting bailed out, having other things come up that distract us from the world proper feels a little confusing. Like there are some times we get to a world and it doesn't feel like we really get to interact with any of the characters because of other things coming up.
I'm going to be 100% honest about this. I prefer it that way because we're not probably doing a lot interesting with the worlds.
True.
So having this interesting thing that happens in the side that's more important to our characters, I prefer that. But that doesn't mean it's what everybody prefers. So.
But then also on the flip side, if we go too far in that, then it just feels like set dressing. Like it felt really weird to think of like the entire time like you're clashing with Laura and stuff. It's like, well, aren't we in Robin Hood of all places? And thus your characters aren't even like their normal selves, your furry version. So it kind of removes a bit of the tension from the situation.
Yeah,
that's also the thing of like, well, if we're just gonna do like play out the worlds, it's like, okay, well, this thing has already happened. Like when if we interact too much, we'll like send the hollow,
we'll destroy the world. Yeah.
I mean, I got that. That actually does. I like that being the way to quote fit the world in, but it's still.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really like to like play things that have already happened. Like it just feels like people playing in like play.
That argument.
Yeah. And this idea that we need to keep things on their tact. We either would allow us to derail things, or should like either on one hand either allow us to derail things, or on the other hand just have us interact with the characters of the world without anything doing it, or just do what we're doing now. Maybe there's a way to have them more of a beast from Hollow Bastion than from a what we did in this one, where we immediately start interacting with the other. Like the Pirates world, I think did a good job because we interacted with the Pirates characters a lot, but we didn't screw around with their story in any real way.
Yeah.
And it was interesting and novel, but also not like intrusive.
Nice thing is I feel like with it being in like quote unquote real world New York, and there's just kind of things kind of going like mad scramble. Like I feel like that one's going to be a little more open to kind of a little more of the Pirates type thing. Like I'm planning on kind of playing this kind of close to the climax of the movie, is when you guys are kind of come in, when all like the fantastical stuff starts breaking loose anyways.
Okay. I actually have to go for a moment. Do you need me for this next part? Is there something you can discuss without me?
We can keep kind of. I have stuff we can kind of discuss, so don't worry. We won't do future planning until the next stuff is going to be Larkso, which is going to be mostly on.
Okay, I gotta go do it.
No, but no, I believe. I just wanted to bring it up as a minor thing because it is kind of a contradiction of, in some ways, this is supposed to be Kingdom Hearts. Part of the fun is interacting with characters that normally you wouldn't. But at the same time, you want to be able to focus on our characters' actual stories and their relationship with each other and stuff, and don't want other characters. And as Ison said, you don't want to just repeat stuff for repeating's sake.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my criticism with like some of the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 was like, you can just this is just like the movie with Sora pacing.
Yeah, like Toy Story and like San Francisco are kind of my aim for what kind of like story I'm trying to tell with these mostly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I probably should have actually those are both really good examples which I should have paid more attention to when kind of figuring these out. Like using the existing characters to tell a story.
They're not directly interacting with the campaign, but we're kind of involving ourselves with the character. We can get involved with the characters, but then we don't have to worry about messing with the world order or the story or whatever. It's just more, hey,
the world order story was actually to try to give you guys a reason to be doing stuff in the world beyond just like, oh, the story is happening around you.
Oh yeah. But Captain Jack Sparrow being crabs.
Yeah, no. Anyway, so alright, yeah, Morgana has a goal and it is going to get revealed here. I realize that is the one I've done the worst job of foreshadowing.
She's been looking for the black box.
Obviously.
No, she is looking for something, but it's not a black box. She's looking for something called the Somnium Sepulcher.
But the black box.
She's not looking for Zigbar.
I'm still kind of annoyed that that's the thing they put into Kingdom Hearts. That's the important stuff is the mobile game that no one plays.
Basically, well, it's important stuff because the mobile game is setting up the story for the next saga.
Yes, the future.
Yeah, but like this one, like it's been 10 years. Can we just have like this on its own?
And they had to give Maleficent something to doing with their dwindling relevance.
Oh, yeah, that's the best way to describe that.
I mean, I love Kingdom Hearts. There's a reason I play it at RPG with you guys. But and even me, with how much I love the series and even how much I love Kingdom Hearts 3, know some of the flaws of it.
All right, so what is it? Want to talk about Larxa here?
Oh yeah. Okay, what are we talk about Larxa here for?
Well, I have like nothing because like as far as I was concerned that you guys were going to reunite at the end of the Enchanted World, but if you have stuff you want to do beyond that,
I don't right now have any plans for Larxa.
Or it's just stuff you want to see.
Honestly, she's really a clean slate right now, so it's like...
I mean, she's like, everything is pointless, worthless. I'm just gonna go off the thing. Also, like, I actually had figured out where she had teleported off to, in case, like, AHOY or someone tried to jump on her and follow her.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I like, that was the thing, like, oh, no. If I don't think of this, this is exactly what's gonna happen.
AHOY, don't pick on my nobody.
So this does
no.
happen, but she was actually going to the Fey Wilds.
Okay.
Because basically, just trying to find someone who knows something about trying to figure out answers about why things are different. Because like Maleficent isn't a mistress of all evil.
Yeah.
Officially. In this world, so she was going to answer, and then basically that's when she gets picked up into makes an alliance of convenience with Morgana.
Yeah. Okay.
Because she gets informed. Larxa is going to be the one who gives you the exposition on what Morgana is after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
So, but I guess here's the big question: do you want Larxa to continue to exist?
Yes.
After Enchanted World, after the
yes,
New
I
York.
do.
Okay.
Because this is essentially supposed to be her origin story, and as I said, I'm planning on using her for other stuff in the future.
Okay.
And in different universes.
All right.
So what happened to Stitch?
Oh yeah,
He's with Archimedes.
Have you been waiting for a lull for that?
I mean, that would be kind of funny if that's something we end up getting
Not in the Enchanted world, though. Not in the Enchanted world. There's too much going on.
There's too much.
No. I honestly think if there is a time to return him to the scene, that's the final world. We mean
no.
He is going to. No, it actually makes tons of sense for him to show up in the final world.
I mean, he's Stitch. He already crashed several different Disney movies.
No. Trust me. Like, I can't say more than this because I do not want to spoil this reveal because this is the one reveal I've been looking forward to.
Probably shouldn't say as much as this, actually.
You better not have hurt my son.
No, trust me.
Anyway.
It makes sense for Stitch to show up there, and when you see what the reveal is, you'll understand why.
Oh no, that makes sense. I like it.
All right. Well, now that we've kind of gone over like kind of the character stuff and such, and you got given me a lot of food for thought here, where do we want to see your characters? Kind of, what's the end game for your characters? We're gonna start with.
Oh, this is the one where we talk about Silas.
Yeah, this is the one we're gonna talk about Silas because I didn't want to do a separate thing with Silas because basically that Silas. Whatever
Silas, yeah, Silas is my character's like inner development. Yeah, it just has an NPC that go along with it.
Yep. But we're gonna do AHOY and Lara last.
Okay.
Just because I feel like a lot can happen from those, so I just want to get the other ones out of the way so we don't feel like we're pressed for time with them. So, all right, so Jane, what do we want to do, what do you want to see to happen in this final stretch with Janox? Like, what questions do you want answered, or what things do you want to happen to kind of set up, where you end the story at?
I think Janox needs to find this new purpose as part of it, because technically, it's very weird for him. In some ways, he is the embodiment of who Janox was supposed to be. The evil side of my somebody was kind of someone who was tired of all the fighting and wanted to eventually, try something new. After all, that's kind of what happened with his prior nobody before he faded away. Mm-hmm. But then he also found out he's a replica. So honestly, I have no problem if I feel story-wise it fits. If I end up just fading away, like Titus does at the end of 10. Story completed, move on. But it does, if it makes sense for the plot, and depending on his interactions with his fellow PCs and stuff, or if he finds a new purpose or something like that, something that can help take him away from the initial purpose.
I have an idea of what will happen for you to give you a purpose at the end. But if you want to do the fade away thing, there is a specific move you may want to pick towards the end.
Oh, okay. If you link it to me, let me know. Yeah, let me know if you link it to me.
It's called Ultimate Form.
I'm kind of half on the fence either way. I honestly, for how many links I've been making, I'm perfectly fine if you find a way to, like, if you think the story throw me so many different challenges that it's like I eventually just can't hold on to all my memories and just have to fade away at the end of the story.
Well, yeah, Ultimate Form, basically you can spend your links to, like, do dramatically awesome things, but, like, if we cut to the point, and also, I'm just going to be honest here, when you fight the Hollowed, everyone should expect to be losing links. That's what the Hollowed does. It's someone who is cut off from everyone, leaving emptiness inside.
Aw, I kind of pity it in some ways.
Oh yeah, it is meant to be, like, everyone in this story, like, all the villains are meant to be tragic. Unlike Xehanort, who has decided to give this at the last minute. Sorry, Brad.
This way. I'm hoping Dark Road does a good job of trying to
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I expected there to be Xehanort backstory, and that probably means being like, oh, Xehanort actually had a good thing for trying to end the world and destroy all these people's lives.
No, it felt really shallow in Kingdom Hearts 3. Dark Road, I think, is trying to do a better job of his backstory, but it's not there yet. I still don't feel sympathy for the guy.
Yeah. No, but no, that is something that's very important to me, is that villains need to have those goals, the things that are about that. Like, you look at them like, oh, like, I don't approve of what you did, but I can at least understand why you did it. Because that makes them feel, that just makes what they do, like, everyone here is trying to do the right thing in some way or another. Even like, the Hollowed is lost its mind at this point, so it's not really there anymore, but what led to the creation of it was actually somewhat, like, at least not the right decision, but an understandable one.
Right, and it winds up with a unversed scenario where it's like, oh, what happens? Well, we screwed up one person really badly, and we have a world-ending menace now. What? It's just one person. Nope, world's ending now.
To be fair, he was the master of heart, so he could do some pretty, like, epic level stuff with that.
Yeah.
Hearts.
Heart's darkness, light darkness, heart memories, darkness.
Darkness, light, hearts, dark.
But alright, so I definitely have some idea. So either, like, basically you either need a purpose, or if you don't get a purpose, a threat big enough for you to kind of fade away against.
Yeah.
Okay. Dyson.
Mm-hmm.
And before we move on, I also would like to confront my old master, since apparently he knows I'm still alive.
Everyone is going to be confronting their foil.
Yeah.
I feel like Sohoy is going to be actually confronting two other people's foils at the same time, because they're kind of also so tied to Sohoy, and Sohoy's intended foil is now an ally.
Sorry.
I did it anyway.
Sohoy is just
metal in as part of those confrontations.
Okay, there were like two conversations I couldn't tell either people what they're saying. Sorry.
That's fine. No. But no, Sohoy basically pulled the shonen protagonist thing and made the villain their ally.
Yeah.
Mind you, he wasn't intended to start off as a villain. He was going to unwittingly become that. But, Sohoy was just did the right things.
He's just the wholesomest boy.
It's true.
Right.
Sohoy's a wholesome boy.
Zyson, it's kind of complicated. Like, I can see it going like, oh, he's gonna do the heroic thing and, I don't know, sacrifice himself, or he's gonna become evil. It's kind of like, depends on what happens with Zyson.
Yeah, because I know, like, Zyson's foil actually has intended to be Master Lionel. Because he's kind of the one who has been doing this. Like, he's been just doing what he wants to do in a way, but like, whereas Zyson does it for himself, Lionel does it for a higher purpose, a bad purpose, but a higher purpose all the same.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, he is manipulative as all get out. There's a reason he has not shown his face around Sohoy that much.
Yeah. Not that he would necessarily know that Sohoy could do that, since that's probably something that happened.
I know, but I had to do it to preserve some of the drama as the thing.
Oh, yeah. He does this, and it's like, Sohoy's manipulating you. Really? Sorry. Sort of. On the other hand, this is exactly what you want out of a character, to have their abilities and identity, changing the outcomes.
But yeah, Zyson, like his kind of playbook, he's kind of in between things.
And of course, before before we get to the actual foils thing, I do want the full Zetrix crew thing to get resolved.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's start with Laura.
Yes.
Of the two of you, because Sohoy is the bigger can of worms here in the terms of, okay, what the hell are we doing? So Laura's a little.
I mean, the thing is, I feel like there's a really easy, like, I know the solutions to a lot of things. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, but so we might wind up be surprisingly easy. Anyway, go with the other one. Do it.
Yeah. Just a second. Let me finish sending this text.
Fine. I'll just start dancing. Not gonna be on the stream or anything, but it keeps the players entertained.
All right. Sorry.
So, what do you want to see happen to Laura to set up her ending?
I want a big face-off against Morgana.
That is already in the cards.
Okay, like a big magic face-off, like
basically,
be full fighting.
So what I am envisioning is that there's going to be a scene where you guys are racing up a tower, and one by one your guys' foils show up to try to thwart you, and one of you peels off to face off against each one along the way.
Oh, cool.
I see how that could be a problem with Sohoy.
Honestly, I think Sohoy is
foil is following him around right now.
Well, that's the thing. I think at now Sohoy is like, there may be an early confrontation where you get to face both the Forgotten Master and Master Lionel, both of your old teachers kind of thing. But the big thing is I think Sohoy is going to be the one who gets up to the top first, like Sora, chosen one here.
Right.
That he is, and then everyone after that, as they kind of finish up their fights, shows up to rejoin them during the final confrontation kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. That's like a very One Piece type of scenario.
Actually, it was inspired. The story structure was actually inspired by, I believe, I want to say Onimusha 4. Where, like, you had a whole cast of characters, but each cast kind of peeled off to fight one of the big bosses to let the protagonist kind of go to face the real final boss kind of thing. So
yeah, it's also there's a little bit of what's it called though in this birth by sleep structure with that, where like what happens at the end, everybody fights their own thing, but one of the people just sort of fights someone they already fought before because they have something else to do.
Yeah. So.
And indeed, that was sort of their hero in that cycle.
Yeah. Yep. So aside from that, obviously I want to get the love triangle sorted out.
Yep.
And I'm sure at some point Jane and Dyson will do like a 3-person chat and stuff to try to come up with plans for that. Let's see. What else do I probably want to have?
All right, we'll settle it this way. We'll both marry you.
Actually, no. One of you ends up. If Dyson goes evil, he ends up together with Larksa.
Well, I mean, that is one way to resolve the love triangle.
Just and the thing is, Larksa's not going to stay evil.
No.
Like, maybe in this game, but not in my other continuity. So...
Yeah, like, I fully imagined that, she right now, she's just nihilistic.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically she's
created... She's a newborn nobody right now.
And also she was created after being told that, hey, trying to improve these worlds, that's going to destroy them.
Yeah.
So, gee, I wonder if that would screw someone up, hearing that everything they're trying to do is screwing up the world.
Soha heard that too, right? Yeah, he was upset. He was pretty upset by that.
Yeah, because that's the big reason why I had Larksa kind of monologue to Sohoy, was to make sure that Sohoy got that.
Yeah.
And from a more credible source than just Jafar saying it again, as he gets more and more exasperated by not being taken seriously.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I mean, yeah.
It's funny that Jafar ended up more of a comic relief than Gaston did.
Which is a sad state when you get.
I mean, it amuses me, but.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see that. Zyson and Lorix, not Lorix. How do you pronounce it?
Larxa.
Yeah, I can see that because I can see it. Yeah, nothing matters. Let's just do what we want to do.
Fight the power.
Yeah, and then
fuck all these worlds.
Yeah. All right. So Sohoy. First off, I think I know what I want to have. I want to have Sohoy and Millen fighting together at the first fight against Master Lionel and the Forgotten Master at the same time.
No.
I feel like that is a cool set piece battle kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is not going to be like the defeat them battle, but it's like this is going to be like the prelude to the kind of thing where like you get this side by side fight to kind of just like, and this may be either just after or just before we try to resolve the Silas thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so about the Silas thing, one of the bigger issues is that every time he sees Silas, like ultimately, pretty sure I want it to come with Sohoy gets his memories back, but every time he sees Silas, it's antagonistic and was significantly worse this last time.
Some of that can be attributed to me not actually having that good of a beat on Silas's character. Like I know the story of what happened to him and why he made the decisions he made, but personality-wise, it's just like I have no idea how Silas feels about Sohoy, really, honestly. Other than the fact that
that's one of the strange things is that like in some ways Silas shouldn't have any opinion on Sohoy. He's the same person. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, this is the spoilery version. Is that Silas and Sohoy are the same person? The opinions on things are super similar. It's just they express them in completely different ways.
Yeah.
You know, Sohoy being angry at Zyston is extremely Silas. Sohoy looks at someone who is undisciplined and chaotic and is like, "Wow, that is irresponsible." That doesn't sound like Sohoy. Sounds like Silas.
Yeah, and the other thing
I've been doing intentional things with this.
Yeah.
With Sohoy's increasing self-awareness.
Also, I'm gonna reveal this little card thing because I feel like this is it because you kind of I think we're getting to the point where we're going to be ending the is he real or is he not to the Phantom Silas kind of thing. The reason I wanted it ambiguous is whether or not he's actually manifesting was because of the ship self-destructing. Because it self-destructed when Silas shouted. But the trick is, it wasn't either of you. It was Master Lionel who gave you that ship and set you up to use it when you finally left that world. And it was supposed to explode at a certain time to set the prophecy in motion.
Fucking manipulators.
Fucking manipulators.
So
Okie dokie.
So that's why I wanted to leave Silas as is he real or is he not kind of thing. Is to kind of leave that as a red herring for the story development. But I feel like that's
not red herring.
Look, we don't have any puppies here, so just stop that.
Okay. That's good. Then can I what's the term? Then like is there a moment where I can sort of take control of Silas as a person or what?
Yeah, like what do you want to happen? Like
I mean the real answer the correct the answer I want to happen is always like Sohoy gets memory back. Sohoy and Silas are one person. Yeah. That is ultimately where this has been going and where I want this to continue.
Welcome back, Jane.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Hello. Sorry.
It's just me accidentally hitting the chat room, and I didn't mean to.
I know the feeling. I know that. I've done that. So that's where it needs to be eventually. Is Soho and Silas do the thing? They get their memories back. I know what's going to happen. Like personality wise, it might be a little boring, but I know what's going to happen, and I won't necessarily reveal that because it's not going to really interrupt anybody else's plans.
Yeah, and I think I've established
there could be a thing of like, well, Silas is, but Soho is worried he'll lose who he is if he lets Silas in. That's what's going on here, and Silas hates Sohoy. And what is the Phantom here? Like, is the Phantom real or not? Like, you still haven't answered it.
Basically, it is in Sohoy's. Only Sohoy can see the Phantom Silas.
Okay. It's literally Sohoy, the memories of Silas taking psyche form inside of Sohoy.
Yeah, and maybe some of the and maybe his antagonist, like Silas himself, may not actually be that antagonistic. Maybe it's thinking on that phone because Sohoy thinks Silas should be mad at him.
Yes. Absolutely. Perfectly in line with how I see it. So.
And then and like I say, and like even you being like fully realized Silas, because Silas is going to be a bit different than the memory Silas because number one, it's tempered by Sohoy's perspective, but two, that's going to be Silas with also having been Sohoy.
Right. That's sort of one of the big differences between like Silas there and actual like Sohoy having his memories returned is that like I basically came up with the way that to square why is it that Sohoy is now Silas is now Sohoy. Yeah.
I could kind of imagine it being like the Piccolo fusing with Kami kind of thing. Like, no.
Kind of. The real answer is that like I came up with a way that like I mean I guess I could just say it here and we won't do it because I could describe it like if you ever get this thing back in a flashback, I have a plan that would be neat. But so if I tell everybody now, it'll just be like, oh yeah, that thing happened. Okay.
So yeah, if you want it to be saved for when we're actually in the session.
Yes. Yeah. One of the things is whether or not like Sohoy worries that getting what Silas is will remove who he is. Silas will take over. And Silas in his head feels the same way. It's like, I want to get rid of you.
Yeah, I feel like we're both on the same page here. I think that's kind of the last bit because, like, it honestly it feels a little weird to be like, we see the end. Like it's
fine, like just 2 hills away.
It's just like, and it's like weird. Like I have not actually finished a lot of campaigns. They've mostly died due to real life issues.
No, so I understand that feeling. Like,
oh no, entirely, yeah. So how many of a character kind of just all of a sudden gone limbo? So because
or TPKs like the short-lived TF2 thing.
I'm going to make one pun and the guy gets away.
Anyway, so but yeah, I think that's it for our planning for tonight. So let me quick drop the outro here, and then we will be done for this. As always, you can join our Discord with a link down in the description to chat with us or discuss channel adjacent topic or channel or blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I was like, you're kind of going fast with that.
Link down in the description to chat with us and discuss the channel or channel adjacent topics or where else you want to. Like how to speak in the English.
What? What is this English?
You can also follow us on Twitter at TalesAcross to get updates from us and be notified when the channel goes live. Character art is done by friend of the show, Carl. Links below to their DeviantArt and Coffee accounts. Finally, like and subscribe to get both future content and help us reach a wider audience. The past, present, and future. We're gonna doing this. It's gonna happen. In the end, no one to see but yourself.
I thought you were gonna say in the end it doesn't really even matter.
I tried so.
And anyways, everyone, good night, y'all.